Welcome back to another episode of Business Journey Unlocked. I'm joined today by Brandon Williams, founder and CEO of the Waveffect Academy. Brandon leads youth development organizations that use basketball as a vehicle to teach discipline, leadership, and purpose on and off the court.
Sure.
Brandon, welcome to the show. Thanks so much. What exactly is the main driver in the Waveffect Academy in your own words?
Man, it's all about literally the youth. As you and I have gone through our youth ages, we've either been through sports or something that's kind of latched onto us, that's given us a work ethic or a reason behind what we do. And this is something that's very close to my heart and very that I'm very passionate about and sharing with the youth. I was basketball player growing up. I love basketball. I played in high school, played in college, played overseas for professional level, and now it's just about giving back to the youth and sharing those disciplines and those inside insights that I've gotten from my coaches and that I can share with the youth today. So it's um, it's in me to continue to go and continue to share with them what I've learned.
Now, I'm not exactly sure how it is nowadays for youth sports. Growing up, it was more so from a performance-based oriented mindset as opposed to developmental, as what you're trying to push out. What exactly did you see missing in traditional basketball programs that made you realize what you had and what your program can offer was what was missing in the market?
Exactly that development. Growing up, it was different then than it is now. Maybe younger than I look, but I'm kind of up in age. So back then it was a little bit different as far as, the work ethic that was put in, the detail to the game that was put in. Now in a sense, we have, big circuits like the AU circuits, which is, is a good thing for the kids, but it can be used in the wrong ways. In a sense of, we have a lot of kids going there that are not quite developed or shouldn't even be on the circuit because of the fact, they're not learning the details of the game first. And now when they come back, they're not really able to apply the things or learn the things that they should have for their own season. So, our thing is, which we developed a developmental league for our basketball youth. Um, Also a actual basketball league, but with our developmental league we really hone into and focus on the details of the game, and plus um teaching them the things that creates a work ethic in the classroom, creates a work ethic outside of the gym. That's the biggest thing, is putting a purpose to what the game is about. I always say, like, the game is a puzzle piece, and it's a long game, so a lot of players want to get there and be Steph Curry tomorrow, but that doesn't work like that. Even Steph Curry had to work to be who he is today. And
Yes, sir.
putting that puzzle piece together and the details together. I always say, like, everybody dreams of having that last second shot. And I always put that puzzle piece together to, in order to get to that picture, like, you have to put the footwork to it, you have to put the shot preparation to it, you have to put all these things to it to make that image. So to get there, it's a step by step process. So that's what we're working on doing and teaching the kids.
I do agree, especially from the point that how you are as a kid growing up, it would either make or break you going into adulthood.
For
Coming
sure.
from my perspective, my father is a blue collar, he's an electrician by trade.
Mhm.
So I've been working inside the house, working outside since I was 8, 7, 8, right? And those principles that he applied has helped me in my successes in life, my
Mhm.
determination, my discipline. So having an outlet for youth as you're doing in the sports oriented field, that's beautiful. And it is hard. A lot of
Yeah.
people use sports as an outlet, but there's a different using it as an outlet to run away from your problems,
Right.
but these can actually build and grow into where and how you would become growing up, and that's beautiful. The
Okay.
biggest thing, especially what you're trying to do, you're trying to grow, you're trying to expand the academy. It's hard to have the same standards cross country. How exactly are you sort of implementing those programs so it's the standards align to you, the organization, and the results that would come about with the youth?
So we're actually developing a program. We're working on a big project now that kind of puts us as a covering over the elementary school, leagues, and that's to me, that's the groundwork of everything. Um, right now we have a lot of junior pros, which is great. I know in my area, our junior pros is good, but at the same time, we need a little bit more of teaching that goes with that, and being able to implement this into actual elementary schools and connect it to the SELs or the social and emotional learning and response to intervention type things that kids can learn through sports. I think it can actually grow with them, not only in the sense of, them taking it through elementary school, but also bridging the gap to when they do go to middle school because everybody know middle school is like the age where, you're trying to figure out yourself, you're trying to, find, what's what, who your friends are, all the things, and being able to have a level head and have a good discipline or a good foundation that you've already built in a sense. I think that goes a long way. Again, basketball is just a tool for us to use for this. In the broader sense, we're looking at building a whole person. All these kids are not going to go play professionally. We already know that. But what we can, work with them is the work ethic, how they're going to, expand into their career field. Maybe they become a doctor, maybe they become electrician, who knows? But the work ethic that they're going to already have already built can now go into their career field that they have where they want to, actually go into as they get older. So it just doesn't stop on the court, as we said before. It's great to have the competitive nature, build that competitive nature, but also it's good to see how that competitive nature can help you in the long run as well.
It's just having the standards and
Yeah,
environment, as you're aware, completely, utterly dictates how you think,
hmm
right? It's
for
just
sure.
it just puts a lens on your viewpoint in life. If you're in a negative environment, what's gonna happen?
Mhm.
You're gonna think negatively.
Right,
Your whole look at the red car theory. I've spoke about this a couple times on the podcast. You think about red
mhm.
cars, constantly seeing red cars. If you're thinking all these negative mindsets, you're constantly looking everything in a negative attribute. How does that gonna help you grow,
Right,
especially with youth,
mhm.
right? The brains don't stop developing until age 25.
Right,
So if they have all these negative attributes, it's just gonna lower their threshold from actually achieving what they could achieve.
for
And
sure.
that's when you step in, that's with your program, that's what really helps.
Right.
Obviously, with your expertise and experience working with young athletes, families, it gives you a unique perspective. What are 2 or 3 changes you're seeing in youth sports today, either culturally, mentally, socially, that parents and coaches should be paying more attention to?
In a negative aspect or a positive aspect?
Either both.
Either or.
Yeah.
I'll go with the negative first. Negative, the basketball culture has kind of become a lot of showboating, a lot of I would say kind of getting in this people how can I say this nice? People getting into a certain character that they're not normally known to be. Um
Uh,
and I understand for me, like me cross the lines, I became this other player. So as far as like my mentality wise, my pursuit of, wanting to win a game. That per se is different than, you having all these, getting in your face, talking trash, all the things that, not necessarily they would be off the court. Say if you met them in person, like that's a whole totally different person than you see on the court because it's a basketball culture and what they've created with it. And I'm all for, basketball hype. I'm all for, the passion of the game. But when it comes into like getting in people's faces and just like um going outside of the game, that's when we have issues, and now, like, kids, that's younger age are starting to look at those things, and I tell my older kids all the time, I was like, "Hey, y'all not only just playing basketball for yourselves, y'all are playing basketball for these kids who are coming after you because they're looking at you." Like, I had an instance where I was playing, rec ball. I was, back home from college, and I was playing, pickup ball with my guys, and, we was talking trash on court, blah, 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 and all of a sudden, like, I get to the baseline, I make a shot, and I turn around, and this kid is, like, right in my face. And I'm just like, he's hearing everything that I'm saying and everything, watching everything that I'm doing. So in that sense, I was like, okay, well, we got to change this around and, find a different way to still make the game inspiring, still make the game cool, but not cool in the sense of we gotta, uh, diminish somebody else's character or go against somebody else just because, So um, those are the things, negative wise, that's the things that I want to kind of get out of the way in a sense and go more toward what basketball is actually about. In the good sense of basketball, like again, it's a friendly sport, it's 5 players on your team, you get a whole team to kind of create chemistry with, and that's always the fun part about, playing the game is, having a team set that we call family, and being able to have the atmosphere, being able to build on the atmosphere, is great because now when it comes to game time, like, a player falls on the floor, you have your whole team coming and trying to pick you up. Like, those are the things that, you miss now in the game because everybody's so into the celebrations or whatever. But when we start, getting or get back focused to like where we are, coming together as a unit, I think that's the most important thing. That's the greatest thing about the game is being able to play the game together. So that's what we're trying to get our mindsets back in tune with.
It's pretty interesting given your unique background, how you shifted from being a player to then starting your own organization as being a founder, as a CEO.
Mhm.
What was the pivotal moments? Like, how were you able to switch between a player mindset to actually operating your own business with the Wave Effect Academy?
Well, I would say that I grew up being a huge Kobe Bryant fan. So, in a sense of that, seeing how Kobe was, knowing how Kobe was in a mental aspect, he paid attention to details a lot. Even when I was like coming up and playing basketball, like not only was I playing basketball, but I was really paying attention to what the coach was saying about the certain footworks, the certain screens, how you get around the screens, what's the best positions to be in defensively to get around the screen to still stay on your man. So those are things I really paid attention to. So now after I play, I'm able to, because I'll go back to this. A lot of players can't coach, or a lot of players can't come back and be trainers because they only just played the game. But when you honestly study the game and honestly become a student of the game, that's when you're able to, okay, now I'm done playing. Now I can come and teach these kids, what the game is about and how to actually implement these things into your game. So I think the pivotal point for me was, being in college, under Coach Marty Simmons at the time. He was a very detailed player, very detailed coach. We watched film like over and over again for like hour and a half, 2 hours in film session, and just going over different type of screens, going over different type of personnel, what our players are going to be doing in the game. So we had to know those things by the time the game time came. And, that really stuck with me and really, continued to help me out as a coach per se and help me out as a trainer as well to be able to teach the kids at not only the highest level, but a younger level as well.
And it just goes back to the habits you had, the discipline you
Mhm.
had,
Yeah.
and just the consistency and commitment. That's
Mhm.
all Wave Effect Academy is all about.
Yeah.
With with starting this podcast, I've had a lot of CEOs and founders come on, and almost every challenge boils down to 2 separate things.
Mhm.
Either getting people into the door, it's really hard, especially with your perspective, how you have to go to schools and everything.
Right.
There's a lot of policies, procedures,
Mhm.
there's a lot of steps in which it takes to allow your organization to be involved with the youth.
Right.
Going from that standpoint, what's more so slowing down, if anything at all, within your organization, whether it be awareness, partnerships, enrollment, or
Mhm.
execution, what would it be?
Well, I would say, just to be honest and be real, it is a mountain to climb up as far as, getting over the school board meetings, getting over the parent meetings, all the things that, make the organization what it is because we are, talking about youth. So we all protect the youth as much as possible. And that's a
Mhm.
great thing. But in the sense of when it comes behind the scenes of, working to get, close to these kids and get, where we can mentor these kids, it takes a time or two to, keep ourselves active and keep ourselves, intertwined with these kids. So I would say the hardest thing is being able to, kind of get in between those cracks. I'll say with my meetings that I've had, like last year was our first year getting into the integrating into the school system, and it was so difficult. Like, I went through probably 8 meetings from January all the way to August by the time we was about to start, and, it barely got over the hump, but at the same time, like, through that stint, it was like, "Man, is this what I'm supposed to be doing, or do I need to be doing something else?" But I knew in my heart, and I know it was a vision that God had given me to continue to do these things because with this organization, it's what it's always been about. And I know that he's given that to me, and I know he wants me to continue doing what I'm doing. And in a sense, if I had to stop, it never would have, got to where it is now. So, being able to persevere, I would say, being able to continue to get over the obstacles, even when it seems, rough in those senses. Um, because if you don't, you never know what's on the other side of it. And on the other side is, my focus has always been the youth, like I said before, and that's my main focus on anything that I do is, okay, how am I gonna, uh, make this work out, pertain to the youth where they learn something or learn something different that we've been talking about their whole week. So I'm always thinking my mind is always going in how it's gonna work, and if I hit a wall, it's like, "Okay, how do I bust through this wall? Or what's the best way to get around the wall?" You know?
Mhm.
So it's a never-ending up climb, but at the end of the day, like I said before, it's more glorious than not because at the end of it, you see, how it impacts and how it, helps these kids. So, um, it's tough. I would say it's tough. It's not an easy road, but at the same time, if it's a road that you know you were meant to be on, doors are gonna open up when they need to open up, so
I do agree, and that's very beautiful. From my standpoint, money is a factor in a lot of situations, but if you
Mhm.
truly enjoy and love what you do, money would just be the byproduct.
Oh, yeah.
As you
Oh, yeah.
mentioned before, once you see somebody who comes into the program
Mhm.
and then when what they are afterwards, that's the most beautiful thing because it shows the frameworks you have in your organization has helped them achieve and be the person who they were actually meant to be. How long are typically your programs
Throughout the year.
throughout the year?
So we
Throughout the
have,
year?
with our leagues right now, we have 2 season leagues that we do. One from October to, or sorry, August to October, and then from March until May. And then in between that, we do our camps, clinics, and our training sessions between those dates. But those are our big basketball league dates that we have right now.
So as we kind of touched on the frameworks that you have within your organization, with the frameworks you have with the decision making, what would be considered some non-negotiables in moments of high stakes uncertainty that other leaders and youth development programs should adopt?
I would say, well, this is just on me. Going back to my focus is, if you have a priority that you listed when you first started, if you have a why that you listed when you first started, then that's always the non-negotiable. Um, just like, talking about faith, if, you go into something and they say you can't profess your faith and, you have to do it this way. No, I'm not gonna do that. That's not, where been led to do. So, I feel like my why, within why I started, and it goes back to a longer story. It might be another segment for another time, but my story goes back to, growing up with, my grandmother and my mother and how they raised me and, being a person who's loving to serve and loving to, give back, being a person who is passionate about what he does no matter what it is, making sure it gets done well. So being able to, again, put that into our youth and enhance the youth that way, um, somebody saying that, you can't, uh, no more, you can't, be with the youth, or, this isn't gonna work with the youth, or, um the faith or the things that you're doing within your program that that you want to bring to youth. it's not gonna work, you can't do it. Now I'm just like, "Okay, well, I'll go another way then so we can make it happen." So, um, I think my why is greater than anybody else's, what would you say? Anybody else's, goal that they're wanting to get to, because sometimes goals are just, things that you're trying to reach to make other people happy, and I don't want that. And sometimes, I'm gonna rub elbows with somebody who's gonna make them mad, but at the same time, at at the end of the day, like I said before, it's not about me, it's not about you, it's about, where this program is going and what it's meant for. So, yeah.
At the end of the day, life, nobody gives you handouts.
Right,
Essentially, you can have all the tools. You can provide all these programs, all this coaching, all this mentorship, but
right,
it's really truly within that person to actually take it and apply it within yourself. You're the only person that is with you 24/7. It's not your
mm,
mom, it's not your grandma, not your husband, your wife, your girlfriend. No one else is with you 24/7 but
right,
you.
right,
No one knows you the best but yourself.
right,
And so there's so many people, which I'm not saying to depend on people. That's not what I'm
mhm,
saying. Saying that you should truly apply what people give to you. You should truly
for sure,
apply the programs and memberships that you give to all these youth. Because again, at the end of the day, you're only multiplying what they had. You see the value in themselves that they
for
can't
sure,
see at that moment.
mhm,
And that's all what it comes down to.
yeah, for sure,
Before before we wrap up here, one question I always enjoy asking people
mm,
is what, based on either your personal, your professional development, especially given your unique experience, what is one habit that you carry day to day that has allowed you to succeed and get where you are today?
discipline. Um, my schedule has always been, kind of laid out day by day, so I have well, I did this because it was how you get so many things going on at once that you have to kind of break everything down to make it make sense on days. Because if you don't, like, your days to get kind of blocked and you won't be able to do anything. So my days typically start around like 3 a.m. So I'll wake up, have my time, my quiet time, and after that, I'll, have my business stuff laid out to what I'm gonna do, for that day. And I think over time building that, has really put me in a place of, kind of being more patient with myself, being more, um, obedient to the things that I'm supposed to be doing. And I think that's a great foundation to start with, because I know if I didn't do that, like, I would never get anything done. Like, I probably wouldn't be on this podcast with you right now. But, I think that has been over time, that has built me, to who I am today. And again, I give that to sports. I give that to coaches who've, been in my life over the years, and also, my grandmother, my grandma, and my family. And so, um, yeah, that's what I continue to do each day. That's my kind of routine, daily routine. I get up and, have my workout sessions and all the things and focus in on what I need to be doing from there. So I would say discipline is, the key thing into, I think it's a good tool for success, and not saying success is, having all the money in the world, but success is, um, doing the things you've been called to do and doing it the correct way. And I think if you can accomplish something, that you do something 1% better that one day or the next day, you've done something great. So, yeah, I would say discipline is the key.
Motivation only gets you so far. It can help out in
For
the
sure.
beginning, but discipline is truly what sets you apart. And as you mentioned before, it's the little things, because
Mhm.
those little actions build the building blocks in order to achieve greatness. You
Correct.
can't do it all at once. The
Yeah.
true prominent CEOs don't try to focus and correct everything in their business all at once. They
Right.
focus on one area and then go into the next area, and then go into the next area in
Mhm.
order for them to get where they want in the business. Because what's gonna happen? People are gonna burn out,
Oh,
they're not
yeah.
gonna succeed, then they're gonna get into these negative attributes as we mentioned earlier in this episode, and it's
Mhm.
from the f is you need to have discipline, as you're aware of, and just be fully locked in into what you're doing. And
Sure.
that's all that matters. That really is what makes and breaks people.
Definitely.
For anyone who's listening or watching this, what's the best place for them to reach out to you and the Wave Effect Academy?
Yeah, we have a website at www.waveffect.com. You can also find us on Facebook at Wave Effect, on Instagram at waveeffect.we. We have a TikTok account where we do some videos where we break down different concepts of the game. You can find us on TikTok under Wave Effect. We also have our email, the Wave Effect Academy at gmail.com. And also, you can contact us on our business number at 615-930-0740.
Beautiful. Brandon, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me. I do
Appreciate you having
appreciate
me,
it.
man.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.